Hello and welcome to Vietnam Journal, our daily English news bulletin on NetViet VTC10, our news speaking from Hanoi. Every day we'll bring you comprehensive and up-to-date information about Vietnam. ASEAN-European Union promote cooperation in the 2013. 6th Vietnamese International Film Festival to be held in the United States. And the story about two chefs bring Israeli cuisine to Vietnam. Vietnamese garment businesses seem to get more optimistic about their production and export after receiving many orders for the second and the third quarters of this year. The information has been recently released by the Import and Export Department under the Ministry of Industry and Trade. In the meantime, the industry's export revenue is $2.84 billion, an increase of 34.4% against last year. Domestic consumption stayed low with the sale of adult clothes achieved 149.2 million units in February, a 19% decrease year-on-year. In the coming months, the industry will apply modern technology and use local materials and equipment to reduce costs and update all products' prices online. Phạm Nhật Vượng has become the first Vietnamese billionaire to enter the list of the world's richest individuals. He ranks 974th in the list voted by the Forbes with a total assets of $1.5 billion as estimated in March 2013. Born in Hanoi in 1968, Phạm Nhật Vượng started his career in Ukraine by producing instant noodles, eventually creating his own brand as Ukraine's processed food king. His wealth largely comes from the 53% stake he owns indirectly and directly of Vingroup, a real estate development firm. By 2010, when Phạm sold Technocorn, a noodle company at price of $150 million to Nestlé, the company had total revenue of $100 million. He is also the investor of Vinpearl Resort Nha Trang and Vincom Tower by Chiu. Third ASEAN-European Union Business Summit, a privileged and high-level forum which aims to boost trade and investment between European Union and ASEAN, will take place on March 8 to 9th in Hanoi. On the sidelines of the press conference to introduce the event, VTC10 reporter have a short conversation with Mr. Preben Tolland, chairman of the European Chamber of Commerce in Vietnam. He will share with us some information as well as prominent activities of the upcoming event.
Hello, Mr. Preben Tolland. Thank you so much for taking your time with us today. First of all, can you briefly introduce about the main contents and prominent activities of the summit this time?
This summit started 2 years ago because between the 10 ASEAN Minister of Trade and Industries and the Trade Commission from Europe, there was some discussions that they felt that their consultation, which they have once a year, so that's why it was started 2 years ago in Indonesia. Last year it took place in Cambodia, and now this year in Vietnam. And this is really a summit where we, the private sector from the 10 ASEAN countries and the 27 European countries, we meet, discuss issues of mutual interest between ASEAN and Europe. And then we discuss, we find our conclusions to that, and we present them at the end of the summit to the 10 ministers from ASEAN and our Trade Commission from Europe. So it's really issues of interest for the private sector, how to further develop the cooperation between our two sectors. That's the issue for these discussions.
How do you evaluate the role of the summit on promoting trade relations between ASEAN and the EU, especially when ASEAN is looking forward to building the ASEAN Economic Community by 2015?
The role is that, first of all, the trade and cooperation is getting better and better, stronger and stronger. Of course, both Europe and ASEAN know that we are very dependent on each other, and we have a lot to learn from each other. So this is the third summit. So of course we also is getting better in finding out how can we execute these summits to get the best output of it. And we really hope that with the preparation from our side and from the minister's side, that we can come out to some useful conclusions which can be developed over the years to come.
ASEAN and the EU are negotiating the free trade agreement between the two regions. Can you share a little bit about the situation of negotiating this agreement so far?
5 years ago, it was decided that there should be a free trade agreement between ASEAN and Europe. It was felt by ASEAN that all the countries were not ready for that. So then it was decided to start with bilateral agreements. So that's why we just finalized an agreement between Singapore and Europe. We are negotiating between Malaysia and Europe, and now, of course, between Vietnam and Europe. The idea is that when 3 or 4 more bilateral free trade agreements have been finalized, then we can expand this and then again start discussing about a free trade agreement between the 10 ASEAN countries and Europe. We believe that within a few years, and of course consultation like this should further enhance that development, that within a few years we hope to restart this ASEAN-Europe free trade agreement.
So how will this issue be mentioned to the agenda of the upcoming event?
It's a part of the, in all the 6 different areas which will be discussed in each of these discussion, and of course on the more global discussion in the morning session, the free trade agreements and the importance of the free trade agreements will definitely be discussed, and also at the end of the summit where we will present our findings to the ministers. That's something where both the ASEAN companies and European company, we both will push very hard for them to understand that it's in our interest to get this free trade agreement started. So this is an overall tone for the whole summit will be that this is some of the things we will be pushing for.
Once again, thank you so much for spending time with us.
Vietnam Journal. It's not just news, it's life in Vietnam.
Welcome back to News Bulletin. The 6th Vietnamese International Film Festival, or VIFF, will take place in the United States from April 4th to 14th. This time, the VIFF will introduce movies produced by the directors from all over the world, such as Australia, Cambodia, Canada, France, Singapore, and Vietnam, among others.
This year, Vietnamese International Film Festival 2013 will screen 69 films, including 51 short films. Half of the short films, 26 films, participated in the YSIN Film Festival 2011-2012, the contest launched by a Vietnamese film forum, YSIN. This is the result of close cooperation between Vietnamese International Film Festival and YSIN Film Festival in the last 3 years. In particular, there will be a short film program of YSIN Film Festival called Best of YSIN Film Festival, with a notable film of YSIN Film Festival in 2011-2012. Being unveiled for the first time in 2003, the festival is held every 2 years, and this year it marks the milestone of 10 years old.
Dancers and the Chio. A group of French artists will hold a concert at the French Cultural Center in March 27th. With much experience in performing on stage, dancers together with his trio always bring musical nights full of energy and surprises to the audience.
Considered as composer, singer of French modern music, Josek adores lyrics and semantics. Born in a family of musicians living in many places such as Paris, Dhaka, London, and New York, he is brought to the art of coordinating words and rhythms in a natural way. With extensive experience of performing on stage or overseas tours, Josek and his trio, namely Serge Moniz on vocal, Philippe Moniz on drum, and Max Gashik on guitar, always bring energy and surprises to the show.
Hanoi is the destination of two women from Israel. They hope to share some of their country's traditional dishes at the invitation of the Israeli embassy in Vietnam. The two famous female chefs, namely Michael Ansky and Ruthie Rousseau, will have a talk, cook and share their experience with Vietnamese chefs and food lovers.
On the occasion of the International Women's Day, Israeli Embassy in Vietnam has invited two female leading chefs, including Michael Ansky and Ruthie Rousseau, to Vietnam to share and demonstrate their cooking experience in Israeli culinary. This is a great opportunity for food lovers to enjoy typical Israeli dishes and understand more about the country cultures.
Israel is the country of immigrants. Modern day Israel is only 65 years old, but like Vietnam, we are a very old nation of thousands of years. And Israelis have come and gathered from all four corners of the world. And the food came with them as well. So the blending, the melting pot that happened in Israel created a very diversified culture and very diversified food. And we wanted very much to share it with our friends.
Chef Michael and Ruthie are true extraordinary women with boundless passion for food, and they are not ordinary food lovers, but successful food celebrities. Chef Michael is a culinary expert judge in MasterChef of Israel, and Chef Ruthie is permanent judge of Israeli Iron Chef. Here in Vietnam, they share their great passion for food and affirm the role of women in different fields.
We came here for Women's Day, for International Women's Day, and I think it's a revolutionary position because you see more and more. At least I see it in Israel. I'm not really sure how it works here, but I see more and more men working in home kitchen, and more women are striving to be big chefs. For many years, many women were afraid to enter that field, basically because it's labor and it's hard work. But I mean, we're as strong as they are. Sometimes, not sometimes, we're always stronger. I mean, even physically, we're very fit, and we're not afraid of hard work. This is a great place for us to develop and to reach high levels, and yeah, I think there's a big future for women there.
A lot of people say that chef is only a masculine, a role like for men only. But I know personally a lot of very good women chefs. But we have to agree there's more chef men than chef women, and I think it's a very hard, hard profession, and it's very demanding. You have to, if you want to be a great chef, you have to put family aside. And maybe this is why the reason it's happening, but I really want to encourage more women to come and be chefs with us and open restaurants, because I'm optimist, and I think no role should be only for men and only for women. We can do everything, we're strong.
Although most well-known chefs are male, in most of the country, women may take charge of cooking. But how to turn this duty into a passion depends much on each woman. And today, food lovers really enjoy the delicious dishes served by these two beautiful chefs.
The story about two famous female chefs bring Israeli cuisine to Vietnam has wrapped up our news bulletin for today. For comments and feedbacks, please send it an email to novatali@gmail.com. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you again tomorrow.